In this tutorial we will continue with another very useful JOSM tool, the Combine Way tool. The Combine Ways allows us to combine two or more ways into only one way. As with other useful tools, there are many situations where we will need to combine ways. We will see some of them in this video. Let's start combining two ways into only one. Let's see for example these two ways here. We can see that both ways form part of the same street. And they have both only one tag, that is the same for both of them, a residential street. So it looks quite clear that they should be better combined in only one OSM way, instead of being two different ones. Combining the ways is very easy. Holding down the Control key we select both ways. Then, we go to the JOSM menu, and under Tools we select the Combine Way tool. Much better, we can avoid this just using the shortcut key C. We apply the tool, and we can check that the way is now only one way. If you are interested in the OSM object's history, please note that combining two or more ways that are already in the OSM database will delete all ways except one. The way that will keep being active in the OSM database will be the first way we select before combining. So in this case, the way that keeps active in the OSM database is the one that was to the south, because it was the first one we selected. But the majority of the times we won't be interested in those details. Let's see another example. Here we have two ways that they represent one single street. The southern way has only one tag, indicating it is one residential street. But the northern segment gives also information about the surface. If we select them and we combine them in only one way, the surface information will be applied to the whole street, so we need to make sure that this is the case. Having a close look to the southern side of the street, we can see it is unpaved. So we can safely combine both ways. We can see that the combined way has both the highway and the surface tags. Sometimes, when combining ways, one or more of them have one direction and some other the opposite direction. Like for example these two ways here. We can see that the southern segment has the arrow pointing to the north, while the northern one is pointing to the south. In these cases, when we select the ways and we apply the Combine Way tool, JOSM will warn us that some of the ways have to be reverted their directions before we combine them into only one. We click the Reverse and Combine button and now we have the two ways combined into only one way, with the direction pointing to the north. We can also combine more than two ways into only one. For example, here we have one street that is divided in 5 segments, as we can see when we select them all. As we can see in the tags window, they are all tagged as residential street, so we can safely combine them all into one single way. Applying the Combine Way tool, we can see that some ways need to be reverted before combining. We click on Reverse and Combine, and we can see that we have now only one way, in this case pointing to the north, as the arrows tell us. Some issues may arise when combining ways. One problem we have to deal with is when we want to combine two or more ways that have one or more tag keys in common, but with different values. Let's see for example these two ways, mapped by two different mappers, that belong to the same waterway. Selecting the southern way, we see that it is tagged as a stream, and has Maxar Premium imagery as source. But the northern way is tagged as river, and has Bing as its source. If we select the ways and we try to combine them, JOSM will open a tags conflict window, asking us which value we want to keep for each key. If we have a look to the waterway, we can see that it is a wide waterway, so it has to be tagged as a river, according to the OSM wiki. We open the drop-down menu for the waterway value, and we see that we have 4 options: river, stream, none and all. The none option would mean that we wouldn't add the waterway tag to the combined way, and the all option would mean we would add both river and stream values to the waterway key, separated with a semicolon. In our case we will select the option river. As for the source key, we will choose the option all, indicating that the combined way has been extracted using both Bing and Maxar Premium imageries. We now click on the Apply button and we can see the result of the combination, with the waterway tagged as river and with both sources in the source tag. Another issue arises sometimes when one of the ways to be combined belongs to a certain OSM relation. Let's see this with this example in Goma, in the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo. These two ways here have the same only tag, residential street. And they should be combined into only one way. But if we check carefully the information in the tags window, we can see that the northern way is member of 4 relations of type boundary. So, if we select the two ways and we try to combine them into one single way, a window will pop up with JOSM asking us to decide what to do with all those 4 relations that will be affected. In this case, those relations would be broken, so we won't combine the ways this time. In general, if you face an issue like this one and you are not sure what you are doing, the best is to avoid combining the ways in the first place.